The skyline of Tel Aviv is a landscape of glass and steel, a hub for Mediterranean technology and commerce. But the geography is divided by a single landmark, Bloomfield Stadium, where two fan bases have battled for city dominance for over 80 years. Hapoel Tel Aviv's Gate 5 Ultras define themselves through this friction. They are a fiercely proud movement, rooted in working-class socialist origins, viewing their support for the Reds as a form of social resistance. Their crosstown rivals, Maccabi Tel Aviv, occupy the opposite pole. Representing the city's established elite, they wield overwhelming financial power and competitive dominance. Between 2014 and 2026, across 30 league derbies, Maccabi secured 25 victories. 5 matches ended in a draw. Hapoel failed to win a single game. The scorelines were equally lopsided. Maccabi found the net 56 times to Hapoel's 10. For a child born in 2014, supporting this team meant living their entire life without ever witnessing their city rivals lose. Fandom wasn't a pursuit of trophies, it was a legacy of generational suffering. The frustration reached a breaking point on October 19, 2025. Inside the shared arena at Bloomfield, the atmosphere was volatile long before the opening whistle. Despair turned into disorder as dozens of flares and smoke grenades were launched from the stands, blanketing the field in thick gray and pink fumes. The match was abandoned as the stadium descended into chaos. Fans scattered through the concourses to avoid charging police horses, resulting in 42 injuries. The match cancellation exposed a deep fracture between the supporters and the authorities, leaving the league in a state of paralysis. This was the club's absolute lowest point. For Hapoel Tel Aviv, the dignity of the sport had been completely stripped away. Rebuilding the club's foundation required a massive influx of private capital. That change arrived when billionaire Edmond M. Safra finalized his acquisition of the football club. Safra introduced a 5-year strategic plan, moving away from short-term fixes toward a complete restoration of the club's elite status. However, the working-class supporters remained skeptical. They naturally distrusted a billionaire-led restructuring of a club they viewed as a community asset. The focus shifted when Safra appointed Elyaniv Barda as head coach. Barda was a former star for the Reds, a figure who carried the emotional trust of the fans. Barda's recruitment focused on balance, pairing expensive foreign talent with local players who understood the high-stakes culture of the Tel Aviv derby. Belief specifically centered on the return of Omri Altman. As a former captain and hometown hero, his homecoming was intended to protect the club's traditional identity amidst the wave of investment. This wasn't merely a corporate restructuring, it was the assembly of a roster designed specifically to challenge Maccabi's long-standing hegemony. On January 26, 2026, the two sides met for the first time since the October riots. Hapoel fans arrived bracing for their 4,294th day without a win. 32 minutes in, a familiar dread settled over the stadium. Maccabi's captain slotted the ball home to take a 1-0 lead. Maccabi spent the next hour comfortably controlling the pace, and as the match entered injury time, another derby loss appeared inevitable. In the 91st minute, everything shifted. Omri Altman connected with a perfectly placed cross, heading it home to draw the Reds even. 3 minutes later, the 12-year drought ended. A rebound from a cleared shot found the Brazilian defender Chico, who slammed the ball into the net to secure a 2-1 victory. In a 3-minute window, 12 years of psychological conditioning were gone.
The impossible had become reality. The players waited in silence as the referee reviewed the winning goal. For the fans, those seconds of VAR confirmation felt like a lifetime. When the goal was confirmed and the final whistle blew, the release of emotion was visceral. A decade of regional subjugation evaporated instantly. 8,000 fans took to the streets of Tel Aviv, hoisting their exhausted players onto their shoulders in a celebration that lasted through the night. The victory ended a 4,293-day cycle of defeat. In 3 minutes of injury time, Hapoel Tel Aviv moved from a decade of regional irrelevance back to the center of the Israeli sports conversation.